Ever since I discovered podcasts in 2019, I've been deep in the rabbit hole trying to find the best podcast app. I've tried Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, PocketCasts, Overcast, Castro, Shuffle, and a lot more. And each of them has their own little quirks and features. But after a lot of trial and error, I've boiled it down to these three main apps as my recommendation for anyone trying to get into listening to podcasts, if you are trying to get into listening to it more or you're just starting out. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? The first one is PocketCasts, which I first heard about it from an MK PhD video, I think. It has a lot of features, it has a lot of customization. I love how you can customize every podcast or every show individually without altering the whole application. But let's get into my favorite features so far on the app. My favorite feature so far is intelligent playback, which is a feature that you don't know you need until you come across it. What it does is when you pause what you're listening to, when you pause a show, an episode of a podcast, and you leave it for a while, when you come back, it goes back a couple of seconds and plays it from there for you. I love this feature because often I get to pause it at the most uncomfortable time frame, maybe in the middle of saying a word or explaining something very technical. And when I come back, I lose context to what I'm listening to. So with intelligent playback, it just goes back by a couple of seconds. So I get to understand or get the context of what I'm listening to. The second one is the ability to sideload audio files from your computer or your phone and just listen to them on the go when you're maybe on your commute or something like that. You can even save it to the cloud. Sadly, there's a premium feature, so you just have to deal with it. If you are a free user, you just have to deal with it on your local device. But that's still a good feature to have, and I love it. My last favorite feature on this app is filters. This one just lets you group your shows based on length and other stuff, maybe downloaded or you start a couple of podcasts, so it will just show you episodes from those shows, from those podcasts separately. Is a pretty handy feature. A couple of things that I don't really like or I'm having issues with in the app. Firstly, its search is, I think I should say, subpar compared to other search features that I use in other podcast apps. This one is really subpar because you have to put in the exact letters as the name of maybe a podcast, a show you're looking for. Even at that, it might not show you the exact show you're looking for. It might give you just other unrelated results, which I think is really whack. The other thing which is not really an issue, it might not be an issue for other people, but it is for me, is that the fact that when I'm not subscribed to a podcast, I have to go to my profile and then go to the downloads folder before I am able to access like downloaded episodes of a podcast that I'm not subscribed to, which is way hidden inside my profile and then to the downloads folder. Instead of just showing in my downloads filters, it should just show in the tab where I have all my downloaded episodes. No, it doesn't. I have to subscribe before I see those ones, and if I'm not subscribed to that, then that means I won't see it, and I always forget that I have it downloaded, which is my main issue with it, which is why I wish it would be changed somehow, maybe from the development. The second app on the list is Spojorama, which I think has the most features and most customization of all the three apps in this list. It bolsters itself as a discovery-focused podcast app. And from what I've seen, it seems to prove that most of its features are focused on showing you new podcasts or new shows that you might not have come across or you might never have heard of. It even has a whole tab specifically for trending and discovery, trending podcasts, trending shows, and discovery of new podcasts. let's go through some of my favorite things about this app. The first one is loads of customization. There is customization for almost everything you can think of in this app. You can choose how many episodes of a show to stay downloaded. So if you set it to 1, every time a new episode comes out, it replaces the downloaded episode with the latest one. So it keeps only 1 episode as downloaded. You can set it to 2 and it will keep 2 episodes. If you can set it to 3 and so on. There is a specific tab for seeing the most popular episodes of a show. There's even another tab for seeing similar shows to what you are listening to. You can also set it to automatically skip the beginning and ending of every episode, so that you can skip the beginning of those shows that have like 1,000 ads before it even starts. The second one is auto playlists. This is very handful if you like organizing your shows into different genres and different for different time, like different time of the day or stuff like that. You can set it to just auto playlist instead of creating a playlist manually for every time you want to maybe create a new genre or you want to add something to a playlist. You have to do it manually. You can just create an auto playlist and it will just and every time a new episode is out, it will just add it to the playlist. Every time a new episode, it will add it to the playlist. This is very handy and can save you a lot of time. Another handy feature is Snippets. And this feature, what it does is, just like the Spotify clips, I think, the Spotify clips or something like that, it will play a 30-second snippet of a show that you are trying to listen to. So maybe you are trying to discover a new podcast and you come across something that has maybe an interesting name. You can just listen to a snippet of an episode, a 30-second snippet, and see if you like it or not. And you can just, if you don't like it, you can just skip it, or you can listen to it if you like it. You can also bookmark a timestamp of an episode. Maybe there's a specific timestamp that you need something very valuable, so you can just bookmark it and even annotate it using a note-taking feature. You can just annotate it and you can come back to it later and listen to it, or just note it down maybe on your computer. My one issue with it is I keep getting all these download errors without really any proper message of what's going on. While if I try downloading something in a separate app, it will work, but I will just keep getting download errors here in this one, which is a big problem since I can't download it, I can't listen to it. The last one on the list is Air. This one is for the hardcore note takers out there. It doesn't have as much features as the previous ones, but its most prominent feature is the ability to take something called air quotes. It's sort of like highlighting in a book, maybe in a Kindle, on your Kindle app, or just using manual highlighter on a book. That's what it does. When you come across a snippet of audio, maybe there's a timestamp that you want to save, you can just quote it. That's what it's called, quote. You'll just quote it, and it'll automatically transcribe what you quote. And you can also even integrate it with Notion and Obsidian, Roam Research, and it'll automatically export to any of those note-taking apps for you. You can even request the transcript of a whole podcast episode, and it will automatically transcribe the whole episode for you using AI. But I won't really rely on that when it comes to non-English podcasts, since is mainly for English language podcasts. Recently, they also released a feature which I think is still in beta called Airspaces. I'm not sure I know what exactly it does, but it's sort of like a Clubhouse-like feature, but in an asynchronous way. It is meant to connect you with maybe your favorite podcaster. You will be able to connect with them, send them an audio message, and they will reply you, and that sort of stuff. I'm not sure I know exactly what it does. One bonus app I came across while working on this is Snipped, which is still fairly new because there's still a lot of features that is missing, that it is missing. I think they said they are still in beta. But this one also is most prominent feature is transcription. It transcribes, it can transcribe a whole podcast for you. You can create, instead of air quotes, they call it snips. That's what they call it. You can also integrate it with Notion, Obsidian, Roam Research, also to export those snips to any of those apps. And this one, what it does that all the others don't is it can create chapters for you. For example, there are shows that have chapters for each part of the episode. For example, Carl Newport's podcast, it has chapters. So this one, instead of it can create automatically for those podcasts that don't have chapters. So you just use AI, and even though it's not perfect, but it's still helpful for skipping around. And that's it. Those are my four recommendations for anyone looking for a good podcast app with features that I'm very sure you're going to like. And that will do it for this video. Make sure to like the video before you head out, and while you're at that, hit the subscribe button. I am Faisal, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.